I want to highlight the role that biochar can play in the decarbonisation and sustainability of Welsh agriculture. This technology is far more advanced than many people realise and is ready to scale now. I hope you find this short video informative. Hello and welcome. I'm Mick Jones, small farmer in mid Wales. We're currently stood on our higher ground, about 750 feet above sea level, looking down on the farm that's been using biochar incorporated into our green manures and animal manures for the last 3 years. And we've seen incredible result of the increase in microbes. Soil microbes, you've got to look at them a little bit like the plankton of the land, because they are invisible, but what they do to the health of the soil is just exponential. And you may wonder, what has this got to do with the current Welsh farming debate that is happening? Well, biochar has the potential to not only directly from sequestering carbon from the air and then put it into the soil in this form of biochar, which will then be there for over 1,000 years, but in doing so enhancing the soil microbes, reducing or virtually eliminating the need for artificial fertilizers, enhanced health of animals. It is the benefits just go on and on and on. One of the interesting things is we've developed a plant to produce biochar. There's also what we call a CHP, that's combined heat and power, so it can generate electricity and heat as a byproduct of making biochar. That's interesting because the electric we actually generate is carbon negative electricity. Not even carbon neutral, is carbon negative, because it's produced as a byproduct of harvesting the carbon from the atmosphere with the help of the trees. And then you may ask yourself, why would you not plant trees and leave them grow? Well, the simple answer to that is, every time we harvest the carbon in a 10-year cycle, or if we grow carbon sequestration crops like bracken, every time you do that, 50% of the carbon is sequestered into the land as an agricultural fertilizer, and we get all this free energy from it. One of the biggest light bulb moments was when we actually bought a soil microbiometer, which is a field scale test for soil microbes. This we purchased was this time last year, actually, in the spring, and that's what really opened our eyes to the microbial importance. So as I stand here, we got 4 fields within sight. There's 2 on our ground and then 2 of the neighbours. So there's one over there, just a few hundred yards away. That's a traditional dairy farm with slurry application, and their soil microbes are what, 320 micrograms per gram. Then further right in the distance over there, about where that green white truck is now, there's an intensively arable site, and their soil microbes are down at 220, which is pretty bad. And then our field, which is the one behind me, that nice green one, they were over 900. That's 3 times the traditional farm level and 4 times the arable. And as you can see that field now, I've never seen a field looking so green and forward in February as that field. It's just incredible. In fact, we had a land agent who come last year, and he said our winter growth was 50% more than a lot of the dairy farms. And that's what I'm seeing from the microbial activity in the soil. It improves the resilience. It improves the resilience against drought, which we can show you on a separate slide. That field has just been inundated with water, and it's showing real good health. It's not showing sign of stress, and we're seeing growth rates, I think, 2 to 3 weeks earlier in the spring and growing later 2 to 3 weeks in the autumn. So as such, we get in massively better yields, but more importantly, we're getting massively better quality in the yields. So much so that this year we've had to cut the stock back on food than we ever have, because they're all getting too fat. It's a bit of a crazy situation that you've got suckler cows with calves on them and they're getting too fat on forage only, but that's how it is. So that's what we're at. I believe we have a CO2 equivalent of 5.7 million tonnes from Welsh Agriculture. 10% of this is CO2, 28% is nitrous dioxide, and 62% is methane. This means the actual CO2 footprint of Welsh Agriculture is circa 570,000 tonnes. The fact is that each typical biochar plant will directly capture 1,800 to 2,000 tonne of CO2 per year. If we were to build 300 plants across Wales, this has a capacity to totally offset the Welsh agricultural CO2 emissions and massively reduce the nitrous dioxide and methane emissions when the biochar is incorporated in organic manures and compost, which will eliminate the need for artificial fertilizers. We have experience on our farm of over 3 years, and as I explained before, things are really promising. We will be doing more short videos on more specific advantages of biochar in the near future, so please watch out for those. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.